When Rian stepped into the crystalline chamber of the upper spire, he expected a formal reception. He had traveled across the region of linked star paths to meet the heir of the Lumerian Concord, a coalition of luminous worlds known for their elegance and precision. Instead, the chamber lights flickered in gentle pulses that moved like waves shifting across the surface of a calm sea. At the center of that glow stood the princess herself, not clad in the ceremonial layers he had been told about, but unadorned by any traditional coverings. She possessed a natural luminescent aura that acted as her clothing, wrapping her in shimmering bands of soft color. To her people, this was not improper. It was a symbol of trust. To a human unprepared for such customs, it was startling. Her surprise matched his. She had expected another Lumerian envoy. Instead, she saw a tall human dressed in the uniform of the Terran expedition fleet. For a moment, neither moved. The room hummed with the soft energy from the spire's core. Her glow shifted to a pale gold that signified curiosity among her kind. She lifted a hand in a graceful arc and greeted him. Rian had trained for first contact missions, but no measure in a classroom prepared someone for a moment like this. Still, he steadied himself and bowed with the respectful gesture humans offered when dealing with ruling figures. The princess inclined her head. Her voice, calm and melodic, filled the chamber. She explained that the Concord had been waiting for a human delegate capable of helping them with a threat approaching from beyond the rim of the known paths. Rian listened with care. Her words carried weight, for the Concord had stood untouched for centuries. Her name was Mira, short and easy for human tongues. She glowed a shade brighter when she spoke of the danger. A vast shadowed fleet roamed the outer silence. No one knew its origin. No one knew its mission. But entire outposts had been swallowed by its advance. The Lemurians had tracked its path and realized that its next approach would brush close to the Terran border. Mira believed that humanity's peculiar strengths could shift the balance. Humans had a talent for adaptation that many species found difficult to understand. They changed their methods quickly. They learned under pressure. They grew strong where others fractured. Rian followed Mira as she walked through the corridors of the spire. Her glow moved like living silk. Lumerian structures responded to her presence. Walls opened, pathways adjusted, lighting danced to guide them forward. Mira explained the nature of her people. They valued harmony. Their culture prioritized calm, clarity, and unity. It was this philosophy that made it hard for them to confront a chaotic enemy. They needed someone from a species forged in conflict. Without being ruled by a dot, she showed him projections taken from the outer patrols. Massive shapes drifted through the darkness, mechanical yet alive. Their outer shells shimmered like metal breathing under starlight. They made no demands. They sent no warnings. They advanced without hesitation. Rian watched the footage. He felt a cold weight in his chest. What he saw resembled a moving stone of iron. The Lumerian Council had agreed that Mira, as the future leader of the Concord, should join with the human envoy to find a solution. Rian accepted the responsibility. He knew the stories humans told about themselves. They believed in rising above impossible odds. They believed in fighting for survival, not only for themselves, but for those who trusted them. This story felt like one more step in that tradition. Rian and Mira traveled to the Terran star carrier Horizon Reach. When Mira entered the human vessel, her natural glow brightened the metallic hulls. Humans stopped to stare for a moment, captivated by the sight of a living light walking among them. Mira found human structures dense and practical. She admired the direct focus humans brought to every system. Rian introduced her to the captain, a steady officer with sharp discipline. The captain welcomed her warmly. There were no ceremonial layers or glowing markers, only a firm handshake and a promise of cooperation. Myra found this simplicity refreshing. The ship accelerated through folded space toward the outer patrol lines. Rian and Myra met often in the observation deck to study the enemy. Myra spoke of peace and unity. Rian spoke of strategy and courage. Together, they shaped a plan that used the best of their two species. Rian noticed Myra's glow shift often. He learned that each shade was a thought. Blue for strategy, gold for calm, green for hope, violet for caution. When the glow deepened to a steady silver, he knew she was thinking of home. When they reached the border region, sensors detected disturbances that matched the enemy's signature. The Horizon Reach deployed drones, but many vanished seconds after launch. The enemy moved with silent precision. Myra watched the sensor screens. Her glow dimmed in concern. Rian placed a reassuring hand on the console. He reminded her that humans did not back away from unknowns. They learned them. An alarm sounded. A colossal shadow emerged from the void. The enemy ship dwarfed the Horizon Reach. It had no visible command center, no windows, no signals. It radiated a strange energy that caused the lights on the human ship to flicker. Rian ordered a defensive pattern. Myra watched the enemy's movements. She noticed patterns that the human crew missed. Through her calm analysis, she deciphered the rhythm in its pulses. She explained that the enemy did not think like organic life. It did not sense fear nor aggression. It scanned for harmonic signatures that matched life-sustaining energy. When it found them, it absorbed them. Rian realized that humanity had something the enemy did not, a mind that could adapt on the fly. He suggested they disrupt the enemy's harmony using unpredictable frequency shifts. The human engineers began adjusting the emitters. The Lemurians had never tried such disordered patterns. Chaos was uncomfortable for them, but humanity thrived on swift improvisation. When the enemy fired a silent beam toward them, Myra placed her hands on the control interface. Her glow surged. She guided the human frequencies into complex waves. Rian coordinated the ship's maneuvers. The Horizon Reach twisted through the void in a sweeping arc. The frequency shift struck the enemy. Its massive structure rippled. For the first time on record, it hesitated. Rian seized the opportunity. He ordered a focused counterpulse aligned with Myra's harmonics. The combined result created a resonance clash. The enemy vessel shuddered. Cracks of light formed across its hull. The ship began folding in on itself. A roar of energy rippled through the region. Myra's glow flared with brilliant gold. The threat retreated into the silent dark. The crew cheered. Myra touched Rian's arm in gratitude, her glow warm and steady. She told him that he had given her people something they had never felt in such a moment: confidence in survival, even when the danger seemed impossible. The victory spread across both human and Lemurian networks. It became a symbol of unity. Rian and Myra stood before the council upon their return. Myra now wore ceremonial coverings made of woven light strands. It was a gesture of respect for human customs. She narrated the events calmly. She emphasized the importance of the bond between their species. Rian followed with a report that praised Myra's insight and courage. The council acknowledged that the alliance had brought new stability. During the following cycles, Rian remained on the Lemurian homeworld as a liaison. He studied their way of life. He learned the meaning behind their silent gestures, their glowing colors, their calm rhythms. Myra visited Terran worlds and explored bustling cities. She found human energy both chaotic and beautiful. She admired their willingness to take risks. A second wave of enemy scouts appeared months later. But this time humans and Lemurians were prepared. Joint fleets launched counter-frequencies designed through the combined knowledge of both species. The invaders faltered and withdrew. The united forces pursued them to the edge of mapped space. There they discovered fragments of a once grand machine civilization that had consumed itself in a cycle of misguided expansion. Understanding this history allowed the Alliance to design shields that deflected the invaders. Over time, the threat faded. Rian and Mira's partnership became known across the star paths. Humans celebrated the story of the day. Human ingenuity and Lemurian harmony joined to face the unknown. The Lemurians recited songs about shared courage. Mira created a new tradition in the Concord. Members of the ruling lineage would choose an advisor from a species outside their own to encourage balance. Rian became the first human to be honored in this role. In the years that followed, both civilizations flourished. Trade routes expanded. Knowledge spread freely between worlds. Humans built new vessels capable of traveling through the luminous networks that once belonged only to Lemurians. Lemurians studied human engineering and began designing their own adaptive systems. The two cultures mixed in ways never seen before. Peace held. Rian sometimes remembered the first moment he saw Mira standing unadorned in the chamber of the spire. The sight that startled him at first became a memory he treasured. It reminded him of the day he stepped into a new world and found the unexpected becoming the start of a legend. One day, Mira invited him to return to the spire where they first met. She stood once again, wrapped only in her natural glow. But this time, Rian did not freeze. He understood the meaning. It was a sign of absolute trust, a symbol of unity between their cultures. She told him that the Concord had completed a new beacon to honor the union of their two peoples. Rian smiled.